Greetings, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Yes, folks, that's me. I'll talk a little bit about Strangeways when I was there. It's a long time ago now, but hey, still interesting because it was an era when Strangeways was actually Strangeways. That's before it became HMP Manchester. Although it was still where it is, they haven't moved it. Definitely not. It's still on Southall Street in Manchester, although the entrance is just off Bury New Road. Now you go up the entrance used to be on Southall Street. If you go up Southall Street, about 200 yards on the left-hand side, you'll see the Twin Towers, the gates, and the old oak and iron gate, and inside the little wicker gate at the side, that's where we used to go through that every day, in and out of that. And the Twin Towers. Yeah, well, big towers, just little towers, but it looks a bit like a Gothic monstrosity, which is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to intimidate the working class. If you don't do exactly what the boss man says, you're going to end up in Strangeways. Or as I think it was Mike Harding said, it's the Strangeways Hotel. There's no place on earth like the Strangeways Hotel. Now, I want to talk today about the governor of Strangeways when I was there. That was Norman Brown. Now, infamous Norman Brown. In the documentary Strangeways by the BBC, filmed in 1979 and screened in 1980, you can see Norman Brown. He's giving a nice little friendly talk to all the new recruits, saying, this is a human warehouse and we're not just here to lock them up and all that. The entire opposite was true when he was in operation, that guy, because he used to give them extra 7 days just for swearing at staff. And there was a lot of staff that deemed needed to be sworn at. Believe me, they just asked him for it. There was one character there who will be featured in my next book, by the way, which is currently with the publishers. That's Sean Atwood at Gadfly Press. And one character there called John Barker. In the book I identify him as John B. But he was a hospitalizer called John Barker. And he frequently used to swear at the inmates. And I saw him one day get a bang from a big guy. He got some racially insulting term, and the guy got up and just went boosh. Right in the snot box, and that kind of led to a big altercation. But I said to this guy, look, I said, you don't need to do this, isn't going to help, yeah? It wouldn't help, actually, and when he was subsequently taken before Norman Brown, I'd written a statement to say that John Barker had actually provoked this inmate by shouting abuse at him, and they amended my statement and gave me my statement to read to the governor. And I didn't know that they'd amended it until I started to read it and thought, this isn't the statement I wrote. So what I did was, at the end of it, I said I would like to add to my statement that Mr. Barker actually provoked this incident by shouting racial abuse. And Norman Brown said to me, I'm sorry, Mr. Sutton. He said, I didn't quite hear that. He said, but that's perfectly fine. That's enough. Thank you. Out you go. And that was the end of that. That's an adjudication process. And I was one of the staff trying to explain that this particular officer had been abusive and was asking for it, which he absolutely was. But Norman Brown was like that. One lunchtime, he went out to the club, and he must have spent 2 hours or more drinking in the club with his mates, the chief officers, and the sycophantic staff. That's the suck-all brigade, They were drinking with him at the bar. Instead of actually doing something constructive with their time, they just went in there and started necking Boddington's bitter, which was really nice. I loved it. But I don't drink it in the day. If you drink it in the day, how are you going to work? And once you start drinking that stuff, you want some more. I did anyway. Let me tell you that. I'll have some Jack Daniels at the weekend. I like that too. Anyway, let me tell you this. So No, around about 2 hours in the club getting pissed. It was about February, it's bloody cold. And I was working in the records office. I was the records officer in charge of the entire records for the prison, because I actually knew what I was doing. Unlike the people who were running it before, there were records all over the place. Anyway, I put that into order. As I say, that's in my book as well, forthcoming up. To pre-order it, you can contact Sean Atwood at his Real Crime podcast thing. Anyway, I absolutely was busy, really busy in the records office, because we don't think we get about 50 to 100 new records a day, inmates moving here, there and everywhere. Anyway, I was in there. It'd be about 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock maybe. Into the office comes storming Norman. He was absolutely staggering all over the place. He was covered in muck, filth and gunge. Starts shouting at me, "You bastard, Sutton!" He says, "You've set my office on fire. You've done it this time. I said, "Hang on." I said, "Come sit down." I said, "What's the matter?" And I rang up the security department. I said, "Listen, I think his office is on fire, Norman Brown." What he'd done was, he got into the club, got completely pissed, lit his gas stove. He had one of these Keller gas stoves, lit that, drew the curtains. Unfortunately for him, he was pissed, so he didn't know that he'd put the curtains over the top of the gas fire. Sat behind his desk, went to sleep, the curtains went up in flames. Caught the entire office. Of course, when he woke up, saw all the flames, the fire and the smoke, he ran out of his office, tried to stop it, of course. In the process, smashed his office to bits. Came out running down the thing into my records office, was directly opposite his, and he ran down into that and blamed me. Of course, I had 2 staff down there working with me who did all the golfers stuff, and they said, "I haven't been out of the office. I've been sat there writing up the day books, Anyway, the chief officer came down and took Norman Brown away. He was in a right state. So anyway, that's what Strangeways was like. It was run in a tyrannical fashion by Norman Brown. Those were the days. Who's running them today? And then after Norman Brown, we had this guy who was brought in female prison officers, and he was a very religious kind of character. There's nothing wrong with religion, except Strangeways was perhaps a little bit of an irreligious place, apart from Noel Proctor, who was a very nice man, by the way. He was the chaplain in charge of Strangeways, all the singing prayers and all that. Do you know, at one time he had it on one of them things where they have on Sunday, where they have it on television. They had it from Strangeways. What a setup that was. Anyway, I'm now going to sing to you. That was Noel Proctor, did that. Nice man, Noel Proctor. This is Autumn Leaves. Willie Nelson records. I like Willie Nelson, Not too sure I'm going to do it justice, which I'm certainly not. Yes, folks, it's time to grab your billy goat gruff and run for the hills. By the way, thanks for your rude comments about my singing abilities, Larry. I appreciate them, yeah. You think your comments are bad? You should hear what my wife says. The last warning's here. Paula, she's gone and jumped in the Clyde again. Whew. The River Clyde, it's awfully wide. It's freezing and cold in the midst of July. Hey, that wasn't bad off the top of my head, was it? Anyway, Catherine, thank you for your kind comments about my next book, which I've been telling you people about my next book. I've just written it. And Catherine has been one of the beta readers, testing it to see if it works. Because I don't know, I just write it, Larry's one of those. You're not giving me any feedback yet, Larry and Paula. Come on now, where's the feedback? Yeah, this is Autumn Leaves, and originally recorded by Nat King Cole and who else was it? Frank Sinatra has done this, and Willie Nelson. So I'm going to sing it in the style of John G. Sutton. I bet that disappoints you. Last warning, if you're still here now, I'll see you on the sick parade in the morning. The falling leaves drift by my window, the autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. The falling leaves that drift by my window, the autumn leaves all red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. There you go. I reckon the leaves, they've sprung back on the trees now. They've run away. Sincerely hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, come and get your liquid cosh in the morning. Tales from the Jails, folks. John G. Sutton.